Hi, how's it going? I'm Hagar. Welcome to Mama Mandala. Welcome to this moon moment. It's a new moon in Gemini, the archetype of creativity and communication, the muse inspiration. And we're beginning this lunar cycle with this sign we've been traveling with for the last few weeks. The majority of this lunar cycle is going to be in Cancer, in the arms of the mother, in the deep waters of the womb, in the protective layer of the shell, and the homemaking, nurturing qualities of this next archetype. So we're entering it from the wings of muse and deep into the shell of the Cancer. So we have this complexity, this invitation into weaving together many flavors, many aspects of who we are. And I have to say, this is where Gemini is hitting me this year. I've been thinking of the way that this archetype of two, right? It's the archetype of the twins. And the two invite us into duality, into the place where there's more than just one thing. Look, we're living at a time in the world where a lot of us are getting caught in very deeply in one way of seeing things. Even in places and in areas and in communities where minds are supposed to be open, this is then where the invitation is into inclusion. There's a tendency, I've been watching it really interestingly, there's a tendency of closing off and deciding that there's only one way that is true, only one thing that is the right thing. And there's a little bit of danger in that, right? When there's too much certainty, when we're so certain about something, we close our minds off to other possibilities. And it doesn't only limit our possibilities, it doesn't only close us off from expanding and growing and exploring and evolving, but it also closes us off to it takes away inclusion, in fact. Now, there's a complexity to that statement, right? There's always more than one thing that is true. So there are things like such as misogyny and racism and transphobia and homophobia. There are things that I'm not okay with, that I'm just not going to be okay with. There are things where where justice is really important and we want to stand up for something. But in our communities that are seeking justice, in the work of activism, in the places where we are coming into the world with the intention and the goal of inclusion, we want to make sure that we're also leaving enough space for more than just one way of doing that, more than just one thing that is right and that is true, where we're leaving room for questioning. Questioning is so important. You know, in so many spiritual communities and traditions, there's a closing off of questioning, and where we're saying, oh, like, have no doubt. Have doubt, yo. Have some doubt. Consider more than just that one way that is in your mind and in your even in your heart is the right way. The invitation of this archetype I'm feeling right now is like a healing balm to the certainty of the world, to the certainty and the polarity that creates. Now, there is a polarity. There are opposites. There are polar opposites. There are binaries. So what I'm inspired to do and inspired to invite us all to explore is how do we weave together, how do we include, how do we commingle the aspects of ourselves that are opposites, the aspects of the world that are in opposition of each other, the places where we're thinking, whoa, this is it, There's always its opposite, and very often, not always, because nothing is always, because nothing is certain, very often the opposite is also true. So there's always more than one thing that is true. And where our society is lacking right now is in the ability to be with ambiguity, with paradox, with complexity. And so, what if this lunar cycle and this time that we have with this archetype was an invitation to embrace the paradox, to receive ambiguity, to see the complexity and learn how to be with it, because it's here. There's always things are hardly ever. I'm careful of not making statements that are finite. So it's not that there's never, but there's hardly ever just black or white, and that's it. There's almost always both and. Because when we say, oh, this and that, then more opens up, more possibilities, more shades, more flavors, more texture, right? And then we grow, and then we learn from each other. And we can say, whoa, I was thinking this way, and it's true. And that thing, while it contradicts it, is also true, right? We see it in science. We see it in the study of the universe. We can have a proven theory, and the opposite of it can also be proven as true. Isn't that beautiful? I find it so beautiful. We live in a universe that is filled with paradoxes. We are material beings, and we are also spirit. We're also something more than matter. But is it really more than matter? That's the question I'm always asking, right? We're thoughts and imagination and feelings, and they're all happening somatically. They're all happening in the body. We're a body that is what we consider as more than a body, but is it really more than a body? So Gemini invites us to question. It invites us into opening up more ways of seeing and considering and understanding ourselves and the world. Now, here's what's really fun is that I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not really talking about the transits and what the constellations are doing and what different planets are doing and the placement, all of that. That's not my area of expertise, but where I'm at is in the arms of symbols and the ocean of mythology, the invitation to look at things from a mythological and symbolic and with a vision of symbolism is the invitation into interpretation. So it's not we're not coming into a pedagogy we're not being indoctrinated with something, but rather we're exploring where an archetype hits us at a certain moment in time. Seasons matter, where we are in on this earth and in relationship to the sun has an effect on us, and at different times in our lives, at different moments, it's going to affect us differently. We are ever changing. We are mutable, just like the sign of Gemini. It's a mutable sign. It's changing. And Mercury rules. Mercury is the planet that is said to be ruling this sign. So it's mercurial. You can't really grasp it because it's the way that even though we are who we are ever changing. No, in no moment are we who we were the moment before. What a gift. Every moment is an opportunity to refresh ourselves, to reformulate ourselves, to break down some of the things that perhaps possibly keep us stuck in one way of seeing, doing, thinking, and opening ourselves up to how we can recreate ourselves and reweave ourselves with a world that's ever changing. Right? It's always in movement. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I see it every day. They're different. This is something no one told me, is that how much grief there is in this infinite love of motherhood. And it's a paradox, because every day I'm losing who they were. Every day I'm loving them more deeply. Every day I'm challenged by them in a new way. And every day I'm meeting a new person that they're becoming, while also having to say goodbye constantly and continuously to who they were. And it happens really, really fast with children. All of a sudden, I'm no longer in the baby phase. No, I don't have a toddler anymore. And it just happens so fast. And the babiness is running away from them. Their faces are changing, the bodies are changing. They're no longer that cuddly, snuggly thing that I can hold, but they're still cuddly and snuggly, but they're really, really, they're bigger, right? So, and we are too, as adults, we just don't see it as swiftly as we see it on children. But we're mutating constantly, responding to what the environment is doing. And the more aware we are of it, the more empowered we can be in the process. So we are the self that we are, we're the person that we're this this body, this personality, this set of skills, and yet this body is constantly and continuously in a transformative, it is a transformative event. It's constantly shifting. And so what are we going to do with this shifting presence? Where are we going to direct it? Where are you going to move it? How are you going to move with it? Right? The you that you are, how are you shifting? Where are you going? How are you going to empower yourself in the process? And how can you, through this process, become more grounded and confident even in the ability to hold more than one thing that is true? And there is friction in that, and there's conflict in that. It's not, oh, what a beautiful experience of inclusion. No, have you ever met a Gemini? There's a lot of conflict there, right? So, and it's not something that we're used to necessarily, because we want to move away from conflict. That's why we want people that are similar to us and like agree with us, and then we're right and they are, and someone else with a different way of seeing is wrong, right? No. This is an invitation into it's an embrace and a willingness to be with the conflict, with things that don't necessarily always fit, with ideas and concepts that are different than how we view the world. And how can that then enrich us? How can that open us up to become more of ourselves, and to become to come into, possibly, if we're interested in that, a healthier relationship with the world around us, with our environment. So I hope this is somewhat interesting and thought-provoking for you, and I hope you can take that into your life and take that into this lunar cycle and work with it. Work with the inspiration that is possibly igniting in you. Even if you don't agree with it, you don't have to agree with everything that I said. I'm not interested in that. Right? Take that, receive it, take what works for you, fight a little bit inside yourself if you're willing to let yourself with the things that didn't sit well, and take that into the nourishing place, into the life-giving space of the mother, as we will enter Cancer season in a few days on the summer solstice on the 21st of June. So I would love for you to join me for Summer Solstice Somatic Ceremony. It's a powerful journey through a mythopoetic exploration of the season and of the solstice itself. And there's lots to explore there, and there are practices and ways to bring all these teachings, these delicious mythological explorations into your body and then into your life, and it is so powerful. I really want that for you. So check it out. I'm going to leave a link in the description of the video so that you can check out all the details. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can get other moon moments and practices to support your life, and also subscribe to our mailing list over at mamamandala.com. And I hope to see you really soon, and do join me for Summer Solstice Somatic Ceremony. Ask me questions if you have any in an email, and I cannot wait to spend more time with you. So thanks for joining me. Mwah! Happy new lunar cycle.